Alrighty, we are live from the studio here. Mr. Robert Kaleal, or my friend Bobby. How are you today?
Doing well, my man. How are you?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, you gotta put that mic on. I made the same error. Is it
Is
on
it on?
right?
Is it good?
Ooh. There you go. I think I can hear you.
How's that?
There we go. We got it. Second time's a charm. So,
There
how
you
are you
go.
today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm not doing too bad. So it's nice to see you today. You're smiling. You're looking good. So
Nice.
talk to us about yourself. I clicked the wrong question there, but tell us who is Robert Kaleal?
I'm just this normal guy who has been doing this for about 20 some years, just working with athletes, sick people, any individual who really is just looking to, recreate their right mindset, heal their body a little bit, find a better path in life. Uh, that's who I am. A simple guy
Mm.
who's just looking to, bring a positive outlook to, you know, people's worlds as much as possible.
Yeah, so that brings us to our next question here. What title do you think you are most known for? A motivational specialist or strength and conditioning coach, etc.? What do you go by?
You, you know, Performance coach, I think, is a lot. What I've been
Okay.
going by lately,
Hmm.
because I try to work with the mind as much as I work with the body, and so I think it's that's really your overall performance that we're trying to, enhance in somebody. But if you had to ask me the two, I think that I don't know.
It's a tough one, eh?
It's a tough one there, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's a good
yeah.
question. Not sure.
Not sure. It's better to go by two than one, I guess. Two
No
is
doubt.
always
Yeah, I'll take
always
it
better
that.
than one. Yeah, so I want to know, this one isn't on here, but like, how did you get into this career? Because I know many people would love to pursue the career of a strength and conditioning coach, or like we mentioned, a specialist in motivation. So how did you get into it yourself?
So, for years I was, one of those guys who, and you're going to see as you grow up, young man, that, there's going to be a couple roads that you can go down. And until you find the one where you can go to school, and I'll just use school as the example here. I'm not saying you need to go to school if you want to be, someone who wants to be an electrician, a plumber, because
Hmm.
we need the tradesmen.
For
But the
sure, yeah.
point is this: you go whatever road you're going to go down, whatever path you choose to take, where you get enjoyment out of it, and things come easy, and then when things are hard, you don't really even give a crap because you love what you're doing. That's kind of how I got into it. I went down a bunch of different roads, and I realized the only thing that I'm good at is helping motivate people, and at the same time, I understood the body, and so the more I got to understand the body, and I loved athletics, and I loved working with sick people because they were so. If you look at the two, if you really think about it, those who are sick, terminally ill, whatever, they're fighting for their life.
Oh, for
Those who
sure,
are
yeah.
athletes, are doing the same. They're fighting for their career. They're fighting for to be the best that they could be to reach their athletic potential. And
Hmm.
so, I found a love for it, in the body, and the more I explored the mind, it just was something I felt I could be decent at.
Yeah, so that brings us to our next question here. Tell us about your background in MMA, boxing, like in that world. So we talked about why you chose that career path, but what background do you have in the mixed martial arts world?
Not much,
Not
I
much.
studied a bunch of different arts and I played with them. I wrestled, and was mostly ineligible in high school, so didn't do well there. Just went and practiced with everyone, and did my thing and went into boxing,
Okay.
and just followed that career. And what it allowed me to do, though, because of practicing all these a few different arts, and then in wrestling and boxing, it allowed me to truly appreciate the sport, the demand for the sport, what people go through, and it allowed me also to truly realize the excuses that people give a lot of times. Uh, you know, Whether it's when they need to increase their whether you get to this point where you want to respect your weaknesses and know the ones that you need to work on, and or a lot of times truly, some of these people think their strengths are what they are and they're really not what they are. And so it
Yeah.
allowed me, by having this plethora of a different background, to you know as I went to school and got my degrees and I combined them all together, it allowed for this perfect world to go into it. That I think it was going to be MMA and boxing and a lot of the wrestlers I trained. No, but I loved it the most too. So I can truly respect, doing something at that level.
Yeah, so you mentioned you did do a little bit of both. You said you did some boxing, some wrestling. What has been the toughest martial art, in your opinion, that you have done before?
I still think Jeet Kune Do, or which I loved a lot, but really, you know, I think jujitsu is
Okay.
awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
do. I love it all, but you know, just respecting that you can have a 110-pound guy, girl, whatever, come out there and twist your face up and make you submit and cry and tap and
Mm-hmm.
you're a big guy. To me, I think that there's such an amazing art to it. And there's so many different ways to submit somebody or control somebody, and not only coupled with the fact that you got to control your breathing, your muscular endurance, all that stuff. To me, I think it's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, so
Yeah,
I think.
so sorry, I cut you off there.
Go ahead,
My
please. No,
my
no, I was good.
apologies.
I'm done.
All right. So that brings us also to our next question. You said you've been doing this for around 20 years or so. What
Yep.
has been the hardest or toughest part of your job? And then talk to us about your favorite part as well.
So, to be honest with you, this is where you realize, hopefully, some of the younger people who are listening to this, they can respect this. There's not a lot of money in this. You got
Mm-hmm.
to truly build your name. You got to build this reputation. You got to realize that you're not going to bat 1,000. You're going to make mistakes with people. You're going to have to eat your pride and your ego sometimes. And with all that being said, that's the hardest part of the job. And if you could get past that and truly realize that you have a personality and a character where that people can kind of gravitate to, then that's what makes you start to love your job. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes you try to turn a blind eye a little bit to, the money part of it. Now, can the money be good? Sure, it can. You know what I
Of
mean?
course, yeah.
If you do it right. But,
Mm-hmm.
and again, for you to get to that level and you got 15, 20 athletes underneath you, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And so you got to respect the hours you put in. I'm up at 4:15. I do my thing. My first client's at 5 a.m. I go about my morning. And then a lot of times my mid afternoons, late mornings are pretty dead, and so, that's when I do all my computer work and all that. Well, then nighttime comes around again and you want to spend a lot of time with your family or back at home. And then you realize you got to jump back in there and then you got to go get some of the
Yeah.
other athletes or
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And so if you can respect the crazy schedule, and you're going to have to work for every dollar you make, and you have to truly respect that. Again, not everyone's going to, you might reach someone's peak potential and they might not accept that.
Mm-hmm.
They may think, holy crap, I should be better than this, I should do that. But then you got to take into consideration that there's a lot of variables that get in the way with people, whether it's their injuries, whether it's their just weak mindset, whether it's a combination of both, and so, think about it. For some of these people to reach their peak athletic potential, you got to eat right, sleep right, drink right. You know what I mean? You got to try not to have injuries, and if you do have injuries, you got
Yeah.
to hope that you fixed them and they're
Yeah.
okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's a lot that goes into it, and so you got to hope that you can uh, try to balance the energy and the mindset in a way that allows for you know the level that you bring someone that you're comfortable with, and that you know, if you know in your heart you did the best you can, it's a lot easier to sleep with,
Mm-hmm.
at night. And so that's the balancing act that you have to have, because there's only so much you can do.
100%. So I liked when you mentioned you woke up around 4:15 a.m., correct? Not p.m.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and I
So
hate it.
I like the saying that behind every good athlete is a good coach. So waking up at 4:15, how do you spread out your day? I know you said you spend time with the family at nighttime. The morning isn't usually as busy as the morning, but walk us through your daily schedule.
So, I get up, I get to work, I train whoever shows up, the people that show up in the morning till about 8, 9, 9, 10 in that range. Then I'll break out. Sometimes I'll have a couple of the pro athletes and I'll go work with them, or, some of my sick people that can't really leave. the house. And then other than that, then what I'll do is I'll go through my day, and at the end of the day, come 3:34, 4:30, depending, you usually start to pick back up again. You got your after school work, athletes that come in, or individuals who are getting off of work that want to come exercise. And so you then jump right back into, the grind of, going back to work. And then you get home, like last night I got home a little after 9:15. And so, it's just tough. And then you try to go about it again. If I could, if I could master sleeping in my car, that's what I've been really trying to do lately, is
Yeah.
getting those 20-minute power naps in, 30-minute power naps in. Those are fantastic.
Hmm.
Because as I get older, I'm realizing I don't have the same energy to, endure all that and go through all that without, and give everything I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? Just as much as I try to
Yeah.
preach to everyone else what they got to do, eat, sleep, drink right, all that,
Hmm.
I need to do the same.
Yeah, for sure. So this one should be a little laugh fest. You gotta talk to us the funniest moments when training one of your athletes or your clients.
I don't know if I have one funny moment. I'll tell you
Okay.
this much though. You know, there's been so many awesome, uh, just
Or awesome
behind the
moments, I guess.
scenes. It's hilarious.
Hmm.
There's so many things that you know. I think everything's funny when it comes to when you build a relationship with some people, and you know you go through the grind, and you have some wins and losses, and you have these moments, but then all of a sudden during your practices, Stipe's done 1,000 funny things that it, because he's just a character, man. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just a character. I don't even know if I can even pinpoint one from anyone. You got to let me think about that throughout this
Okay.
podcast.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try to come up with one, but
All right. Perfect.
there's a lot.
All right. So you mentioned my man Stipe. So talk to us about the relationship with the guy. I don't know how long you've been So how to start? I guess how long have you been working with Mr.
About eight
Stipe
and a half years.
Miocic?
Yeah,
Okay.
about 8.5 years.
So talk to us. What's the guy's character like when he's training? Is he like laser focused? Is like talk to us about that?
Yeah, he's one of those guys. Ultimately someday when I write my book, a lot of it's going to be around this type of mindset, because is he laser focused? He's a ball buster, but when he needs to be laser focused, there's not anyone better. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? He's locked in, and so if you think about it, you know a person like a Stipe is one of a kind. He's the one percenters out there, and in my opinion, and there's a lot of them out there. So I hate to say, because there's a lot of people in this world. So when you say one percenters, you don't think that much. But let me say this: it's one thing to be a great athlete,
Hmm.
in my opinion. It's one thing to be a great person, and to be a great person, you have to. What comes with that is your character and your integrity. I don't even hold a candle. My integrity and character doesn't even hold a candle to what he's tried to represent in front of the millions of people who have watched him, and what he's endured, and what he has to listen to, and the social media idiots that are out there, and the stuff that they say. He holds his tongue. He keeps his chest out. He doesn't bark and yell out all and come hard with all these people. He's just a simple human being who just wants to help a lot of people, whether he's a firefighter, or whether he's walking down the street. I mean, this guy, he'll if he sees something in a restaurant, he's just he'll help go fill up someone's water, and he's just that type of guy. And so, you know, it's almost, he's almost ruined it for me, because I mean, this
Hmm.
guy's, what's he got? A few more fights left, whatever, in his career, and well, what am I gonna do? Because it's
Yeah.
hard to hold a candle to someone like that. What do I use him for now is, if you're not going to train like Stipe, and you're not going to represent yourself in a way that is truly defines a righteous character, it's going to be hard for me to do it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because he is that way. Now would I say that he always eats right, and he always he's a heavyweight. He
Yeah.
doesn't always have to, but
Yeah.
when it's time to be laser focused, when it's camp time, and we need to study, we need to practice more, we need to do more. Does he always like it?
Of
No,
course not. I don't
no,
like training like that either.
no. I mean, he actually hates it, to some
Yeah.
degree. But he
Mhm.
realizes the gifts he has. He realizes the mindset he has, and he realized that there's a lot he could bring to this world from a character perspective that, I think finally now, as he's entered the later stages of his career, that America and the world is starting to see and start to appreciate. You don't need to bark and talk and do all this stuff. Just get out
Exactly.
there
Yeah.
and do what you need to do, man.
Hmm.
And so that's what it's like working with that guy.
Yeah. So long story short, the hands should be doing the talking, not the mouth.
Right,
So you got to get in there and do what you got to do.
right. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the feeling like going into that Triology fight? You were his strength and conditioning coach for that. It was the third fight, tied at 1-1. What was the feeling or like the vibe, I guess, going into that fight?
It was amazing. They're all amazing though. You know, I tend to take the same approach no matter what.
Hmm.
So, I because if you want to try to reach someone's peak potential, you have to have a plan regardless of the situation in front of you. Whether you lost before, whether you're injured, you have to plan things accordingly in respect to your overall output or the things you're going to do the day before, the day after, or the injury prevention stuff. Sure, you have to you have to be able to focus and do all that. But you know what was so different about the trilogy fight is that you know in my opinion, Stipe deserved it more than anything this fight
Hmm.
because of just his character, his personality, what he puts into it, how hard he tries outside the cage, inside the cage, just in life itself. So I did feel a little bit more, I would say just, I don't want to say stress, you know, but maybe a little bit of a greater desire
Okay. Yeah.
than if I could have had one. Because I really don't, I don't ever think that I can because I try to put so much into it. The whole team does.
Hmm.
But there was just something here where we just felt like he deserved it so much more than we feel Daniel did. And I'm not taking anything away from Daniel and or his team. They're awesome,
Hmm.
But just from knowing Stipe and going through so much what we've gone through, you know, I think that this fight was just there was a little bit more stress, I would say, a bit of anxiety to some degree when you thought about him just winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially it's gonna be the last fight between them. Also, you want to
Yep,
finish out on top, I guess. So it's like that added pressure to
right,
that spectacular, the specific fight, for lack of
exactly.
a better word. All right, so this last one I have for you. This is an athlete you would love to work with in the future.
Damn, boy, you're good.
We're throwing these tough
Good.
ones
I
at
like
you.
this, man. You got a future. This is the road
Appreciate
you need to
that.
go down, boy. I'm telling you. You might not have too many other paths. You should consider this.
Thank
Uh,
you.
you know, I, I don't know. What I'd like to work with maybe. You know, yeah, I love the fighters. I really do.
Hmm.
Because you get so personal with them. It's a one-on-one sport. It's up to them. There's no one else they have to count on in there. So, some of these up and coming fighters that we have in the gym now are just some great people. And so, you know, I would love it. Would it be great to take on, you know, I could see myself taking on a football player, but I'd
Okay.
want to take on someone who, is a later draft round pick. I'd like to take on someone who really is not really picked to do that well, and then I'd like to kind of prove the world wrong.
Hmm.
So I don't want, when I started with Steve, Marcus Marinelli, the head coach and owner of Strong Style, he looked at me when I got asked to come on the team, and he's like, this is a guy who, if we do this right, can be someone. This is all those years ago, after he just lost his Struve. We
Yeah.
just got to figure it out. And when I had that opportunity, again, whoever thought Steve would be the greatest of all time, we were just hoping to get him fixed up back in a time to get ready to go for the next
That's
fight.
awesome.
And then we got a short, then we got called for this, a quick fight. And so, you know, I want that, later draft round pick person
Hmm.
who's got the mindset though of a Stipe,
Yes. Yeah.
and I'll take any of them because
Hmm.
then I got a nice piece of clay to play with and mold. You know what I mean? And that's really where I would love to do some work, do some damage.
Yeah, I see, and I understand that because you feel the glory. It's like raising a child, I guess. You're raising them step by step, and it
Yeah,
feels good when you see them become successful.
there's no better feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so before I let you go here, it was awesome talking to you, but I want to give you the opportunity to shout out anyone, and you can also talk to us about where we can find you on Instagram, Facebook. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, so listen, first I need to shout out the whole Strong Style team. From the coaches from Marcus Marinelli to Joey Delguy to Alex Cooper to Pablo to Steve Kindness to uh, Cody Stevens. All these different coaches. I don't want to forget anyone in the corner there, but there's so many. Justin. There's so many people who uh, who make it happen at Strong Style from a team family perspective. And from what Marcus brings to the table in respect to this family type of a mindset. I'm shouting out every one of those guys because they come to work every day just like I do. We all have our own hats that we got to wear, and we need to be able to make it happen in a way to where we're all on one accord. And so I
Hmm.
want to shout out to every one of those guys, to all the people at Health 360, the gym I own. I'm just thankful. They I don't know if they respect the schedule I keep, or I don't even know if they like me anymore. Actually, to be 100% honest with
To
you,
be honest.
but Johnny, shut the fuck up. And so with that said, with that said, I hope that we have that all the people who just deal with my schedule and what I'm doing. That's who I want to give the shout outs to. And my family especially
Hmm.
because they deal with my schedule and my work and my lifestyle, and I'm all over the road. So I'm just very thankful. My Instagram is I don't even know my Instagram
I'm pretty
name
sure
anymore.
it's Bob_Khalil,
Yeah, yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
being honest.
Good. And then I think my Twitter is like BDR Bobby,
Okay.
and uh, but that's all. I'm not the best at that yet. I'm working on
We
someone
gotta
to help
pick it
me.
up. We gotta pick it
I
up.
got to pick it up. That's why I got you now. Look at
Oh,
it. Help,
I
help me out,
see.
my man.
I
I'm an
got
old
you. I got you.
48-year-old guy. I need some help.
All right, perfect. So I'm on the way.
There you go. Good.
Alrighty. So, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today, and hopefully we'll be talking in the future.
Awesome. You take care, my man. Good luck to you, kid.
Alrighty. You too.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Uh-huh.